Thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, Paul Peter, and thank you everyone for this opportunity. Really a great Power Monday, where I had a very interesting morning. I think Paul has heard a little bit about that. I am glad I can identify with the teacher because my first profession was teaching. My very first into professional life was teaching. I taught in Nairobi Pentecostal Church Academy. Some of the news anchors you see high flying on the net are some people that we pass through our hands. I identify with Liz because I've been in insurance for 5 years. And yes, I can tell everybody they need insurance. I can identify with Eunice because of all that is going around, and community health, and more and more. So I'm glad to be here. This is an awareness session, and I have very few slides, but I believe they are also heavy. So I look forward to Paul Peter, maybe when it's a halftime to the time you're giving me, please kindly alert me. And thank you for the lady who prayed, very much on point with this quote. And I pray, I'm hoping that you can see my screen clearly, because on my end, I know the challenge that I have, but it's okay. The quote for the day says, "Here, for I will speak of excellent things, and from the opening of my lips shall come right things." This is not Sarah speaking, this is Proverbs speaking. And in Proverbs, all those verses you could write them down or take a snapshot and look at them. I was challenged last week when I read a verse, and then I decided to look at the whole of Proverbs 8. It is a chapter I want to go deeper and deeper every day. I think it will be my anchor chapter, talking about wisdom and understanding. Wisdom is saying that it is greater than rubies. It is better than choice silver. It has riches and honor. Everything we are looking for, wisdom is saying, I have it. And today, I really hope that we can get a nugget or two, just as our sister prayed. And mine really, I'm saying here, overall objective is to sensitize you, but really it is to make you annoyed. Annoyed why? I want you to look at these statistics. These statistics here. When you're looking at trade statistics, it is always good to use the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Last night, while I was just putting this together, I could not find them online. And you can always download even the whole report. It normally comes around April or May of every year, but it gives the statistics of the preceding year. Like now we are in 2022, you'll always get statistics of 2021 and the discussions and a lot of information. That is what we use when you want to look at the trends and you want to look at what is happening in the export market. It informs KRA, it informs an organization I used to work with, which I'll keep mentioning as we go along. But right now, I just want you to get very annoyed. I hope you will. And this area is very passionate. I'm very passionate about it. And I hope I will not take very long. I would like you to look, I will just touch on a few things. I got this data from CBK last night. Thank God, at least there was a website that was on in the evening. And I would like you to get a glimpse on the green totals, the totals in green, the columns in green. You can see the first one is written total. Actually, that's total imports. And since I was taking this as is, I didn't want to add anything because this, even if you go to the CBK website, you'll find this information up to, I think, 1998 or so. So that is total imports, the first column with green. And then we have the second column written in green, shaded green, total FOB, that's total free on board. Don't worry about those terms. We call them Incoterms, international commercial terms of trade. We will not even go there today or tomorrow until I give you a training or you go and read on your own. sorry, so total FOB is actually our exports. The first column is actually total imports. Indeed, any developing nation, any developing economy has to import materials for manufacturing and all that. But anytime I gave a presentation with my former employer, I would feel very unhappy because of the last column, the trade balance. Actually, is that trade balance? Isn't it trade imbalance? It is trade imbalance. And you can look at June 2022 and look at the last column there at that amount that is in millions. However, most of the time we trade, of course, in dollars. Is the highest currency on earth currently. After myself, you're the highest currency on earth, by the way, because you carry the image of God. Then all the other currencies follow and they keep following you and me. That's a story for another day. So looking at June 2022, look at that trade imbalance. Look at how many total imports we have. Look at exports. It is said in the trade corridors that there is no country that grows as a net importer. We have to change these figures, ladies and gentlemen. We have to get annoyed with these figures. These figures, if we showed in a graph, you would cry. That there are certain things we are importing. I don't know if right now we are making toothpicks, but there was a time that we were importing toothpicks. There's a time we were importing eggs. Why? Why are we importing eggs? You know, and other commodities. I won't get into the commodities for today because this is just a glimpse of all that. So these are the figures. You look at January 2022, look at January 2021, look at the trade imbalance. Look at June 2022 and look at January 2021, then look at May 2021. I would like you to see the trends, how these figures are going up from 2021 January, then May, and then 2021 June. And then you look at the total imports. They are growing, increasing. Exports is not increasing at the same rate. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just leave that at that because of our time, but really that trade imbalance is not a good sign, will not be a good sign until we change the total exports. And you and me can do it. And I'm wondering right now, what is in your mind? With your profession, you can do it. With goods, you can do it. Sorry for that. So what is your inner voice saying about those figures? If I had a graph, I believe you'd be crying right now. Actually, I should ask, how patriotic are you? Because for me, working for the government made me a patriotic Kenyan. Today, I know what patriotism is all about because of the passion on this side of trade called export trade. Import trade is good, but we can increase the exports and they are tax-free. So what are we going to do about it? As a group, as an individual, are you going to tell somebody about it? Are you going to think about it? Are you going to check if your farm can do it? Is your farm already doing it? Are you saying I'm too small to export? That's a fallacy. There are companies exporting, even Sukuma Wiki that is dried, and they're doing very well. And there were an SME we were working with. Exporting is too complicated. Yes and no, you can demystify that. I can't compete overseas. No, we'll see in a while what Kenyans are up to. I can't afford to export. Well, there are ways and means. And I say today to you, ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised when you put your mind to it. As the old adage goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Oh, have I skipped? Or am I on point? Oh, great. Are we together? Somebody say something so that I'm not talking to myself. Paul.
Yeah, but we are together.
Great, great, great. So critical questions. This looks like just 5 to 6 bullets, but actually I could stop right here and hold a training. This is heavy information. Are you exporting directly or indirectly? What is direct export? In short, direct export is where a company, an individual, you are exporting your goods directly without an intermediary into the export market. Let me use my sandals, the sandals that I always put on the Instagram. Exporting directly is my company exporting maybe to Barbados, my passionate market, directly. My goods are living here and going to Barbados. They're living here, going to the US. Indirect exports is where you, or let me use a name here, Liz could have bought the sandals from me, and then she sends to her friends and other people. That's indirect exporting. You're not in it directly. And sometimes you could start with indirect exporting as you're growing, as you learn the ropes, and then get into direct, because direct exporting has its own risks. It has got its own weight in preparing for exporting. However, both ways work. And my sandals have actually reached US, I believe Australia some years back through indirect exports. Right now, Canada. Actually, I should follow that client. Then what are you exporting? Is it goods or services? You can export your services, your professional services. Like somebody who is doing, as the agency. Rwanda was a very good market when I was there a couple of years. Very well, and Kenyans were leading. They were the top in the big companies. They're the ones who set the policies and set things going. Market, this is the main key. Actually, should have been bullet number 1. Is there a market for your goods or services? Market is just, that's general. When we take you through training, when we take you through developing your export market canvas, we look at target market, we look at research, the research that will inform so many things, logistics, even up to the household. Who is paying for those exports? How are the logistics? How are the intermediaries? How is the competition? You come down to the letter when you're doing market research. This is just a tip, a small tip, so that I don't go into the whole major thing today, because today is just an awareness. Just whetting your appetite a little bit. So there is a lot here in market research. You cannot start exports without a thorough market research. You can try to do it yourself, but if you're an SME, my sister, my brother, talk to us and we'll see how we'll work with you, and we'll see who we can refer you to if you say that you are not capable of meeting this. But we can pool together resources and we are able to do the market research or take you through the whole export training, which will touch on bullet 3 up to identifying your target market. When you hear me talking about a passionate market, Barbados, is because I did a thorough export market canvas to the letter of who is going to pay for my sandal, to the value proposition, to describing my product. Is my product ready? That's where I am now. Am I ready to export? I want to say, are you ready to export as an individual, as a farm? Are you ready? Is your farm ready? Is your human resource ready? So even that bullet is carrying a whole heavy presentation for export awareness. Systems, are they ready? All that, we take you through an export checkup. We take you through a SWOT analysis for export. And also you have to ask yourself, are your goods or services export ready? It's not just a matter of jumping and that my friend, or like now my client went to Canada to settle there for good. They even sold their house and they had ordered about 7 pairs for their family or more. It's not just about that. It's about many things. So I'll leave these critical questions. They are deep. They are deep questions. There are many presentations that can come from this, but an export training leading into a product called Export Market Canvas, which is an export strategy in a short canvas, but a document you can take to the bank, is something that we can always take you through as a group. It's always better because export knowledge is rich knowledge we've been given by God through where Some of us have worked, and it's knowledge to share and share and share. Many people are in the dark, and there are many opportunities. Even in the sea, something called the blue economy, there is a lot of money in the sea for exports. So proactive reasons for exporting. We say, don't just jump the gun. Don't just hear this point I'm giving you about DRC and just run. No, take your time, learn. Be in a network, learn, and weigh. Are you ready? How are you going to get into the market? And do you need some training? So a unique opportunity can emerge in a foreign market. We all know, or we've heard through the media, I think it's been sung over and over, that DRC has now officially joined the East African community. DRC has about 90 million people, therefore adding value to the East African community now with about a market of 250 million people, which gives Kenyan companies a very good opportunity, especially those in manufacturing, a very big market for their products, and even for you in services. This is a market I've visited twice, but quite some time back, I believe 2010, it was my first market to visit, while I was working with the government. I just gotten into working with the government that time. And in my government edition of 6th September 2022, that's last Monday, you always get that clip. I think I've seen also it being shared in the Power Monday team. The Kenyan companies, it said last week, Kenyan companies in a gold rush to DRC. There's a very beautiful article there. Maybe I would share that. I think I have my government for last week, and you can read a little bit. Now, government institutions normally do intensive research in matters export, especially those which are mandated for export promotion and development, like my former organization where I worked called Export Promotion Council. It's no longer Export Promotion Council, it is now Kenya Export Branding Agency. You can Google that and it will come. Even if you write EPC, it will still bring. And we had done a research, extensive, intensive market research and feasibility study in June 2012. And the private sector, those in private sector, came in very strongly last year. Equity Bank, the Equity Group, and it even did more research built on that and took business people to DRC end of last year. I wrote about it in one of my issues for export market briefs, the maiden. It was a maiden issue with only three issues. Then there could be demand for avocados in China. Recently, I think about a month or two ago, in our platform for national exports, my former colleague was really putting the pictures at the airport and, really sharing with us and being happy about Kenya exporting avocados to China. So there could be that. There could be the African Continental Free Trade Area. This is a market that has almost 1.3 billion people. A lot is going into that. Please Google and find out more. However, countries are signing up. Many have signed up, I believe, about most of the African countries, but there are a lot of modalities, policies, logistics issues. There is a lot surrounding that. But that doesn't mean you cannot now trade with Nigeria and all that. But there is a lot to get into to operationalize for us to actually benefit from after. This is a big, big, big market. Ornamental fish, that's hotcake in the export market. I will not go there. I'm very passionate, as I've said. So another opportunity, an opportunity to exploit a unique competence that you have or your firm has, that's bullet 2. You could have, I was just thinking, IT solutions to logistics issues. Maybe you are good at creating apps or creating a specific drone. Who said that it's only Kenya that is using drones now in weddings and events? You can just come up with a solution and sell it abroad and in some of these big markets, or even for a trade exhibition for monitoring what is going on. Export coaching, like what I have, is a unique competence that I can now export, and I've been doing that, and I'm continuing. Actually, there are pitches waiting for today. Market research, risk management. I just touched a little bit on the professional services, because most of the time when we talk about exports, we get lost in the goods and we forget to sensitize people about services like insurance, teaching. Nowadays, there's teaching online, there's a lot going online. Thank you for the COVID-19 in quotes. It took a lot from us, but it has set us on another level. Here I am in Mombasa making this presentation, and some of you are in different parts of the country. So maybe your clients could be expanding internationally, like the companies going to DRC, and could be some could be your clients. And well, you just got to learn and get in the middle of the value chain and serve a client, a new client, an existing client. And there you get your business, you expand your market and reduce your risks depending on one market or the local market. And the rest goes competitive advantage. Your farms, you want to enhance your farm's competitive advantage by using resources. Let me just still use DRC, it's the hot cake on the table. There is copper, there are so many minerals, gold, diamond, so many minerals. Your company could be needing some of that and might decide to pitch there and take advantage of that. So export gains, as we know, definitely increase sales. I'll not go deep in this. Economies of scale, reduce vulnerability. I've touched about markets and risk, new knowledge and experiences, definitely even new languages. Oh, it's lovely when you get out of the country with a focus. Let's say like a trade event, like I will touch on briefly, or an event like I went to in Germany for organic products only. Oh, it's beautiful. The experience, you cannot compare. You cannot, very rich, very rich. Whatever you are taking part in outside the country in matters trade, it is rich. Whether you're going with the government or private sector or joining the team that is going with the president. Most of the time when a president goes out, even our own outgoing, incoming, they are not only just going to have a trade talk, they are opening markets and you have to leverage on them big time. Competitiveness, global competitiveness, foreign currency, definitely that is what we are all looking at. And it's a great opportunity. I will leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. So some milestones, lessons learned, I'll just touch a bit. This is actually my profile, my current profile. I said, let me just make it brief. I'm networking, collaborating, sensitization, information sharing, and advisory. This is ongoing on professional business platforms. We have platforms with the DRC team and the Equity. I'm part of that, and many others. I'm saying with great joy to be able to be in some of these platforms, National Export Committee and others, which we have kept warm all through the last 4 years, I believe, and other new ones. So networking, collaborating is continuing. This is just out of a good heart. Give and it shall come back to you, a good measure pressed down, shaken together and running over. There are many, many, many WhatsApp platforms, and I am happy to be part of them, and I normally share the nuggets. Now, in-person trainings, these are things that I've been doing. If you're taking a snapshot, you could take, because these organizations are some organizations offering free information. I will just touch on bullet 2. Sorry, I'm not guiding you. tralacCBI.eu, you can learn a lot. ITC She Trades. This built me a lot in my work when I was serving the public before I went consultant mode for a brief stance. And up to today, there is rich information here. Please look at some of this information. Do you want to know more about AFTA, Africa Continental Trade Area? Check Tralac. They even offer webinars and all that. ITC SME Academy, the last time I checked, they're offering courses for free. You could start demystifying exports after this and more with free courses. Just check, they should still be free. ITC is International Trade Center. I didn't put the long names, just take as it is. Google during your time and whet your appetite, You could be handing over this baton to someone else so that we increase those exports. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to do something about the exports. And remember, exports are not taxed. There are other costs, yes, but they're not taxed. So OIT is the Organization of Women in International Trade. The Nairobi chapter is very strong. We've been working closely together, especially in the last regime of the last president. And there's OIT Nairobi, and all that. Pila Sokoni, Power Monday team, here you are, been working with you. These are some of the, if you go in my LinkedIn profile, some of the work that I've done this year. The market is warming up in export consultancy. These are not export per se, but I was saying my background has helped a lot in me getting these consultancy contracts, and I am diversified. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile and you feel you need my services, please call. We need the business. We are recovering from the pandemic, others very fast, others slowly, and here we are, we can serve you. So blue economy, I'm very passionate when I discovered what is there in the water after talking to my former colleagues while I was doing this needs assessment survey. Ladies and gentlemen, money is not on land, it is in the water. Please Google blue economy, see the opportunities, and we can always point you to the right direction. Okay, so these are some of the projects I did. And this is purely export, TF4 scoping mission to Kenya. They're in my LinkedIn profile, I will not take long. The training for about 9 months this was an international training under ITC She Trades, some of you may have heard. I did a pitch of my own organization of a particular product bearing my brand name, and the rest is history. I partnered with one of the companies that I mentored while I was working. There are many that I mentored, I thank God, and with my team, and the list goes on. So there is a lot. You can see I'm touching, if you look at the last bullet, I've touched on indirect exports, EMS canvas, that's export market strategy canvas, which we can be able to take you through. Yeah, export trade events. I've been privileged to visit 8 countries and 3 continents. And I talked about the ones with the stars, the events. These are the ones that I went to. This is the last one I attended. The Biofach Germany. This is a very big opportunity for Africa. And it was sad that there was hardly any African country. We were sponsored to go and research for a very short time. I'm looking for my CASA. Yeah, this is a big opportunity for Africa, for you. And sometimes these events will say that we are only looking at organic products only, but they also deal with inorganic products. It's a cut across. And we've been able to share with some people this information, and they were very happy about this market because they were going to Germany. So Moringa, I found details about Moringa, how people love our Moringa and the kind of tons they want. There is a lot of opportunity for us. Honey, and there's a lot of opportunity. All this information we take back, of course, to the government after we come back from those meetings. New York Now, anything that is not starred, I didn't take place. It's my team that took place, the teams that I was working with, the SMEs, where I linked some with the county governments, and actually they were sponsored, paid flights, paid pocket money up to New York Now. One of the SMEs are the ones that I'm working with. They're produced with working with us, and while I was in government and even after, their product is top quality. And that's why I work with them to add value to the artisans. Adding value how? When I also get a market and sell and make a small markup, all the other funds are going to the workers, the cutters, the designers, all of them, and improving livelihoods. I deal with the two production units in the coast. And my biggest market for sandals, people who love quality and are ready to pay for it, are Nairobians. Give yourself a high five. You're my greatest market locally. So another event is that one. I've been to India. It was great. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot for us to learn. Lubumbashi, DRC is not a market you can wish away for anything. Look at it, follow what people are doing, follow the media, talk to us. Yeah, keep us alert, keep us alert. I thank God for Paul Peter. He has actually pulled me from, someplace, because I've been dealing with other things as we've been waiting and searching for opportunities in the export arena. Thank God I'm multi-skilled, so I can, traverse other areas as an entrepreneur. Rwanda International Trade Fair, those are the years I was there. Uganda, a lot of stories to tell, very rich experiences. Every market I went, very rich experience, and it's experience that will always be a rich resource to exporters, even if it was a long time ago that I went, because now we're in 2020s. I've had that training overseas. I always say, last bullet, I loved Netherlands, and I look forward to be the next Kenyan ambassador to the Netherlands. Is still my dream. China was beautiful, lovely. I had the time of my life. All the other places, it's work, work, work. But here it was a lot of fun. I didn't get to tell my former CEO that, but we had a lot of fun in China with other countries, about 14 countries. We were 34 participants in a certain training, and I had been selected to represent my organization. So you're bringing back very sweet memories, as much as I'd moved on with the consultancy. So this is just part of also what I've done. I put it here because this is an awareness, and you can see some organizations, because in this session, we couldn't go through what I normally take people through, a serious timed sessions for potential exporters and existing exporters. This was just a snapshot. So these are organizations we have worked with. This is things we have done, export trade training, seminars, workshops. Remember, I was in charge of Coast and the Export Promotion Council. So traversing all the coast counties, the exporters, all the experience was rich. I didn't know that my husband, I was serving the public with all my heart, sometimes not even going for lunch. Tunataka kuona mama. They will not see my team. They want to, tunataka kuona mama, because as a Coastarian. And I didn't know I was building myself until I found myself out there. Something I hadn't planned. That's a story for another day, but I thank God for it. And here I was now getting my first international contract in 2019. And I used to come to Nairobi to train many women. We finished the product just before Corona, and those ladies are doing great things. They reaped big with the Corona because of the textiles and masks and all that. The rest is history. And we are still in touch with the platforms I told you about. And it's interesting seeing how people have grown after the trainings of developing their export market canvas. So I think I will stop at that. The passion has started rising when I was about to finish. Thank God I just did 10 slides. I pray that you've got something small. As I've said, this topic of exports cannot be finished in a day. Even when you undergo a training, we'd always do a needs assessment training, customize it depending on where you are at, price it, agree with you, and then we'll be able to offer that. You never have enough of this export. It has to take time. Even when you're working in an organization, it takes time. Other people may not be able even to present this. I'm not priding myself. It's because of the department that I was in, which did not look very lucrative in terms of the pocket money, but it is feeding me. And up to today, I am thankful that I can be able to share with you, my fellow Kenyans, through Paul Peter and Power Monday team. I'm really thankful that to share just this brief opportunities. There are many opportunities. There is massive, and the sectors are cut across: agribusiness, manufacturing, name it. There are success stories. People with paint went to Tanzania, and today we found them doing paint in their teens, and they went and did $1 million worth of business in less than a year. Success stories are major. What I will tell you, please work with government. Work with the government. The government is the one that gave me opportunity to serve. Well, I applied for a job. I served and I gained more than I could ever say. And today it can put food on my table. Out of all the professions, all the industries, insurance, development sector with USAID and teaching, and here I am teaching. So let me leave it at that. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you guys for listening. Sorry, it's been so much of unilateral, just one-sided. And that is how it is for this one. Didn't put on pictures, and because I didn't want us to get overwhelmed. And then I would feel, oh, I need to charge them something small. No. So government offices, websites, information is free of charge. Ladies and gentlemen, make use of them. Make use of them. People are willing to listen. There are desks there with people willing to listen. Well, if you go and they're not willing to listen, I'm here. I can connect you with them. I can charge you a small fee, and you can do something great. And you are not too small to export. No one is too small. No one. But it is a journey. It is not an event. And you carry the name of your country very proudly when you're doing export, whether of services or of goods. Let me stop at that. As I've said, the passion has really come up. I feel like I could go another 10 slides, because normally we do 20 slides or 30 slides when you're doing a presentation for the government in the facilitation trainings. We got opportunity to sit in the meetings in KPA, Kenya Ports Authority, KEBS, KRA. Let me tell you, there is a lot that goes on in exports, and you can be part of it and change the story of Kenya. Part of it directly, indirectly, share the information out. But for this presentation, please, it is capturing some of my own personal stuff. You can just use it for the Power Monday team. Please don't share it out. I would really appreciate that. I just made this specifically for you, and last night, specifically for you. Thank you so much. Let me leave the floor.
Thank you, Sarah. You're saying we should not share, while I thought sharing would be caring and it would help many more people. Power Monday has internal and external community. Otherwise, we are happy and grateful. Anybody with a question, a comment? I wanted to ask, in other words, you're saying that everyone can export, whether it's a service or a commodity, a good, a tangible product. Is that accurate?
Yes, you can export. Let's put it this way. You can export anything so long as there is a market for it. You can export anything so long as there's a market for it. And yes, you can export, but there is a lot to go into the preparation. Today, you could be here and maybe a friend asks you to join them in their venture, okay? Just the way we have investors coming in. A friend can ask you to be part of their venture. And you could be having the funds. Maybe they already have done their market research, they have the funds and all that, and you are a partner or you sit on their board. Or today we form a company. I have a product I want to export and I want to make it, but I need people. We can work together and create employment for Kenyans, and we export. And the market is there, very rich. In fact, it has information for 2022. I was surprised. Let me leave it at that. I hope I've answered you.
Okay. Yeah. So the ball is on our court. We can export a skill. We can export services, commodities, everything. Yes, we start with Daniel. Your hand is up. Then we go to Christine, then Catherine.
Good morning. How are you? Greetings from Sumu County, a place called Fort Ternan. Thanks so much for that beautiful presentation. I was fearing I may not be able to reach you to be on board because of the telecommunication, but it's been very well. Two things. Mine is a comment. Your presentation was fantastic. I love it. It's just that you are to talk fast because of the time, but I'm sure I'll be able to listen to the recording. I've also tried exporting. There's a time we are doing Moby Dick, exporting to Europe through Netherlands. And it was a good feeling to be able to be part of the solution rather than problems of Kenya. We ran into some problem because now everybody was exporting Moby Dick to Netherlands, and then it was winter and it became quite a challenge. Right now, I think people are focusing on avocado. We're also now looking at that. But I think listen to your presentation once again and read the notes. And I think I'll look back, I'll check you out. But I'm very impressed with what you've shown, and that is that we should think outside the box. There's a lot of potential in the foreign market. We should not just look inwards all the time. Thank you very much.
Great. Yes, we have Catherine.
Thank you, Peter Pod, and thank you, Sarah, for taking us through exportation. Quite a lot of eye-opening in terms of the opportunities that we have. I will touch base with you after this. I'm sure we'll have your number. So what I'm trying to do, Kat, is how does one start exporting service? I've been in the service industry for quite some time, and this is in customer experience. The advantage I have is also I'm a diplomat by training. So I'm looking at you as a good network in here. In terms of how I can be able to export service and also be able to get to maybe work in some of the projects that you have or maybe that are upcoming. Thank you.
Yes, Sarah, would you like to comment on that? How do I start exporting services?
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Odhiambo, all the way from Kisumu, and sharing with us your experience. We really appreciate. How do I start exporting services? As I said, before you export, the issue is, are your services needed? And where are they needed? Today, I have shared a few links. I don't know whether you got to write a few things during especially when I was going through the slides. The cbi.eu, that would be much of goods, but I'm sure you might find services there. ITC. The important thing is to start looking at these portals and see, I've mentioned TFO Canada. If I were you, I would also look at that website, follow these people online and start seeing what is the conversation around. We've talked about DRC. What is the conversation around? I've mentioned Equity Group. I would go to the Equity Group website and check, and later ask Sarah, are there statistics there? There's information there. I wouldn't have mentioned it if I didn't know about it and write about it in the export market briefs. So anything I have mentioned here and there, I could have mentioned in my personal profile, but that was the main thing, because to make a long presentation for today, wouldn't it have worked? I've really changed from what I used to do 4 years back, very differently. So what are we saying? Use the links, follow the government institution I've mentioned, follow all the institutions I've mentioned. What is happening at the port? What is happening with Keproba? Keproba is your main. This is the organization that built me, the EPC. Look there, what is happening? What conversation is around? Is there an event capturing professional services? Do you want to ask them? You can ask them. About organizations that are offering umbrella organizations for professional services, the way you have CAM. Is there that for professional services? There used to be one, I don't know how strong it is and if it's still going strong, because as a consultant, you dip into where you are moving and follow the other things later. So that's what I would say. And just keep watch. Tralac, I've given you Tralac, Africa Continental. You have to touch base with these websites, these organizations, because you are starting out. ITC, what are they offering? I told you about the ITC SME Academy. Check that. What is there? What is it telling you about professional services? Is there a course that can open you up even before you engage a government institution with questions? Because I always say, I always count myself as the government. I forget I'm out, because I look forward to going back now that we have a new dispensation here. Oh yes, here we are, and we are going to pitch accordingly. Opportunities are already open with Kenya Gazette. So ladies and gentlemen, take the plunge. Join me to take the plunge now. So under professional services, there is a long way you can start, a short way you can start, just by sensitizing yourself, even before you ask those questions. So that when you're engaging with a government institution and you're making an inquiry, you're making an inquiry from an informed position. You may not know everything, but at least you know what you're asking. It is very sad when people would come to us and don't know exactly, but somehow, because of experience, you'll be able to make an inference. I hope I've answered you.
Okay,
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm saying, sorry, Paul, let me just make a comment. I'm saying, yes, you have, and I've actually logged into the ITC SME Trade Academy, and I can see the trainings in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I'll be able to just follow up, and in case of anything, I'll touch base.
Yeah, just check about professional services and all the other. You may not touch on all, but please, after matters DRC, there could be opportunities right there, even now for services. Like now, translation services. We were talking on the chat, on the WhatsApp group with the DRC community and the Kenyan business people. Translation today, if you know French, oh my goodness, you reap, because most of the Kenyan companies don't know French. So there you go. Yeah. Okay. Let me leave it to Paul Peter.
Thank you.
Maybe somebody else has something.
Thank you. Christine Miracle. Your hand was up. I don't know whether Christine is still there.
Yes.
And then Eunice.
Hi, good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, Sarah. Sorry, I missed the beginning of the presentation. I'm sure we'll link up at some point, and you could assist in terms of growing as an SME exporter. Currently, I'm outside the country, and I would like probably to kindly touch on the question surrounding export readiness, because I think that's a big challenge, which when I say we, I mean myself included, as SMEs, as grappling with in terms of meeting the requirements. And until I delved into this, I quite rightly didn't know how humongous the requirements of exporting include, in terms of monetary, in terms of logistics and everything. What does the government of Kenya do, because you've got some previous experience, to help SMEs in terms of export readiness in regard to certifications? For example, we've had to go through certifications. Like if you want to export anything, I'll touch on the area where I am. I'm doing the moment, that is fresh produce. You have to go through a rigorous certifications, more than 7, 8, 10 of them. Those are not very cheap certifications. If you're thinking of Global Gap alone, that's of almost, you're talking of $250,000 to get that Global Gap to export to the EU markets. If you're talking of the BRC alone, if you're talking of KEFIS, if you're talking of HCDA, I mean, what does the government of Kenya do to help SMEs to meet these costs, whether it's advancements, whether it's this, because not every person who wants to put their leg in is able to upfront meet this cost, and nobody is funding startups in terms of ideation, so that you can say I'll be funded to be able to export, because you are already in a stage of an ideation. It's not yet articulated. So my question, one of them is, what does the government of Kenya do in terms of trying to fund SMEs to be able to meet these requirements per se?
Okay. Paul Peter, do I just go straight?
Maybe
Hello?
we can listen to one more. That is Eunice. Her hand is up, and then you pick it, and then you will close. Yes, Eunice.
Okay.
Paul Peter, I think mine is covered in the question that she's awaiting to answer about the export and the, so let her just go deep in it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, then you can go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, thank you. Ideation, let me touch on that first. And please, this is an idea I am trying to think about, okay? I'm trying to think about it. It's already on my slides. I am yet to delve deeper. I would like to start roundtables for SMEs to discuss exports. Please, this is an idea that has not been picked by the government. You give them, I have no business. So this can help, because I was realizing as I was working on my other newsletter, the one I shared with you, the second issue was delayed, but it's coming out. There's something to do with roundtables for becoming that I want to do through LinkedIn. Now I was thinking about, what about these roundtables for SMEs? We have a new president, and it's to accept and move. And I was thinking, this bottom up, how can I leverage that for myself, for Kenyans, and to help other people? There's a gap. Let me leave it at that for now. And I would welcome anybody to talk with me, even on WhatsApp, on this area of this ideation, because this is something we can do together. There are certain things you can't do alone. We can do together, look at it from the business angle, or look at it as a social thing and see, because people need this information. Number two, I hear you and I hear you great. I'm very happy that you are here, Miriko, for all that you've shared has captured in a nutshell a whole session in export training about certification and meeting export requirements, very key. And you're in a very good sector, fresh produce, but very expensive sector because of the certifications. Now, the government, this is what I don't know about right now. Yeah, I've not engaged them, but the government, what I know and what I see from the platform we serve with them is still opening markets and forming a trade, creating a conducive environment for you to trade. The EPAs, you are in Netherlands, you know about Netherlands, the EPAs, the agreements, the partnership agreements that help us to export to Europe, you know, conducive environment through multilateral agreements, bilateral agreements, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through the President's office. The government, that's what it does. Opens markets through events. Like now I've talked to you about Keproba, my former employer. That is an organization you should not leave without disturbing. However, when it comes to costs, what I saw, when it comes to costs, every organization would have to meet the costs. That is the sad part. However, we can always now look at it. If we have these tables, we can always look at it because people will not fund this. And that's why the export readiness is very key, so that you know, how are you going to start? Are you ready to start? And if you're ready, how? Maybe you want to start with herbs, just something small, not the big mango and all that requires all that. I feel you about the certifications. I feel you in a great way because I've dealt with these exporters. People are exporting up to today to the Dutch market, but they zeroed in on one product. They got a market, zeroed in, and it's giving them day in, day out until they've expanded their factory here in the coast. So the cost issue, unfortunately, many would meet. However, by working closely with the government, whether you're getting information, whether there is an event, whether there is corona or not, hang in there. Sometimes new projects come where they fund a certain company, I remember, under me here in the coast. In fact, a couple, even the fare was being paid all the way to Nairobi, and the training for Global Gap was being paid, I think, by Dutch people, some organizations. So stay close, put your fangs. Somebody used to say, put your fangs like a bulldog on a mailman. One of my former pastors, a European, would say that. Put your fangs in the government institutions that deal with export promotion and development. And number one is Keproba, the current or former EPC. Even research they have done. And then the CBI.eu, I believe that one you know very well, as someone who's looking at the Netherlands market. That is a very rich treasure. So on the costs, that's what I'll tell you. especially fresh produce, I feel it. I used to feel it every time I would tell an exporter what they need to go through. However, as we've said, you can carve out. You can carve out even in the middle of a value chain. You can do something in the middle of a value chain, and you'll be able, maybe the cost will be little, but you need the export readiness assessment. That I can give you. I can take you through, but we can talk about it on WhatsApp.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. That's very kind of you. The other little question I had, sorry to take your time in this, Peter, is in regards to, actually it's an encouragement, because some organizations I'm dealing with are very, very pro-women. And this is nothing to do with, it's trying to break or bridge the gender gap imbalance, because export has been a very masculine kind of trade. If you look at the research, the statistics, the companies that deal with export are very masculine. They are gender biased in terms of not many women are into it. When I entered into export, the little I have, you find the gatekeepers are men. And for us to be able to bridge this gap, some organizations have been speaking to are really pro-women. Like ours is a tripartite of women-led organization, and I find the uptake is very, very positive. So if there are women in this forum, that's, I think, a positive angle to verge into, because there is uptake, because we are dealing with farmers from the grassroots. And as long as we have got our mission for the impact and social change, they say if you feed a woman, you feed the family. So organizations dealing with women are very, very good, good uptake in terms of going forward. So that's just kind of, I don't know what your assessment is on that.
Okay, I came to this slide because of that, and sorry, I realized the last bullet there, the third last bullet should be TFO Canada, Trade Facilitation Office Canada. This was dealing with Women in Trade Project, which is Women in Trade Project, right there. You are very correct. You are very correct. You are spot on. And that's why the international organizations like this International Trade Center started very early, way before we got this contract. They contracted us to do this training for women in trade in Nairobi. Just the way you've said, women-led. We trained women-led and women-owned organizations and enterprises. I think we must have captured about 500, if not, it was massive, but we'll do it in phases. This month we'll do that, and across the sectors, textiles and all that. So the matter gender is very true. Even when you look at UN Women, the matter gender started long time, but with the Davos agenda the other day, the one that Davos conference is held, a conference in Davos, economic conference is held every year. Even before Corona, it was held. I kept saying maybe they knew about it. Oh, that's on the side. But the conference that is held in Davos in Switzerland by the top organizations, these G6 countries, all those countries, you should be watching and learning from them. Now it's climate change. Decisions are made there. We need also to start making our own decisions for Africa now that there is AFTA. And round tables are going to help us. So the issue of gender, you are spot on. And now all organizations are looking at climate change. That's the latest kid on the block. So all the funding is climate change, yeah, and blue economy. So there we go. I think I'm done.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to, we are behind time. Is that your background? Someone is Okay, I'd like to say that now, Sarah, thank you. You have a lot of people have asked for your contacts. You better share with them in the chat, telephone number and email address, so that they can carry on further. There are lots of people here. Almost all of us have something we may want to export. Yeah, I see people here like Antonia who sell bags. People like Melvin selling financial management skills. Yeah, I see different people. Kezia was here, who is in the tourism board with the government. Yeah, we have a lot of resources and we have opportunities. So we need people like you to keep pushing us and helping us expand our territories. And there is also we also hope that we will continue to learn more from you, and that this will go a long way in building the Power Monday team to where the members to grow and become better this year and beyond. Otherwise, thank you. I think we will come to a close with respect to that subject. Just to let you know, members, maybe I need to stop the recording.